All right, welcome back again. We are here to talk about this commission from Starfall for David of the Saber Museum. This is the Wheel of Time saber, that themed saber that Nick had done up. I think he was given quite free reign on this. So up top you can see we got like this little infinity symbol in the blade plug. This is our blade retention thumb screw. We got a little bejeweled thing on here. This has been laser engraved in that theme, again by Bryan Lynn. And we have some interesting features. So this has a kind of suspended Noah Drew holocron marble with a sphere, a synthetic opal sphere in the center. And then another exposed crystal chamber with a real quartz. Each of those have their own lighting. And then Nick also requested, they're going to be real hard to tell, but I've got two SMD pixels. So these are not pixels, I should say SMD LEDs. Again, that's not going to show up. I'll do this on the table. And then those are their own color, so those are static, but they are independently programmed, so those will do interesting effects. And then we also have, you can't quite tell, but we've got strips on either side here for some cool activity. And if we unscrew the grip, we've got a resin greeblie chassis that I painted in a theme with the Shadofoil hangman array in a greeblie setting. Now, I got to give props to Phil Beaudry. He is the one that designed this t-shirt, which I'll link in the comments, for the greeblie design. So this, I think he did something very similar in his hangman layout on a chassis that he designed. And I'm not even sure if that saber's still around, but that was inspired by him. Yeah, and so then I also got to give credit to Tim at Tierfon, Tim McCarthy at Tierfon Orbital. He normally does the stock small accent ring, like on the side with like a resin printed greeblie insert. So I sort of did the same thing. This is a medium stock Neopixel ring and like a bigger accent greeblie to take up space, because we have our kill switch up here where normally we'd have it on the same side. But because I had a little bit more extra length in the grip, I was able to make this easily accessible from right there. And then the other thing is we've got some onboard tactiles, because if you'll notice, there are no switches. So this will be a very similar install to one I did for Nick over a year ago. He did a Mandalorian theme that I helped with the install, and kind of did a stand and some extra features. And that was all gesture-based. So we'll go over some of that. But just in case we want to do some functions, we've got buttons on the chassis itself. 18650, 28mm KR bass speaker. And if we undo the thumb screw, we've got a Shadofoil Neopixel emitter, if I could hold it correctly, subbladed to do some extra fancy things. So let's hop down to the table. Let's go over some more specifics and turn it on. So everything is in the off state right now. And again, I did want to show, get a little pointer here, take this Allen key. So up here, we've got an SMD. This one is white and this one's pink. And they'll do different things in on and off state. Again, we've got inside, we've got a Neopixel 2020 strip that will light up on the outside. We've got a Neopixel under here. And then we've got a Neopixel under, on the back side of this, there's a tube that Nick installed with a hole. So like this thing is fully see-through, well, not fully see-through, but you can see all of the cool little interesting things he did for the crystal chamber in here. So that, yeah, that's lit directly underneath with a single Neopixel. And again, we've got the Shadofoil emitter, subbladed. So let's hit the kill switch. Okay, so this is the Starfall font package. You can see I've just subbladed the emitter, or the hangman array, into 3 independent strips. So the center strip is the only thing doing something right now. We can see that cool little group here. Let me actually turn this light off for a moment. There we go. Very cool. So again, props to Tim at Tierfon for that idea. Cannot take credit for that. And then over here, we've got an Edison filament. So I like to program my Edisons the same way like I program the static LEDs, where I use like a half color value, so that when we have like flash on clashes, you'll see that it'll go full brightness. But yeah, that's just a red Edison filament nestled among these greeblies. So I tried to match with this like faded copper, and then come back with some accents and just, you know, some little touch-up paint jobs here and there. But if we can see that underneath all that. Again, 28mm Care bass speaker. Proffie V3 config is on the SD card. This sports the Starfall font package, which now includes 3 new fonts, which I showed in my last demo. And I'll go over those again here. But so when the Proffie is facing you, your auxiliary is to the left and your main is to the right. So basically, if the crystal chamber is facing you and you want to turn the Saber on, you can press this button. If you want to scroll through the presets, you press this button. Okay. And we do, again, this is fully gesture control. So I've only turned on twist on and twist off. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. So again, if you want to, you can just engage it with that button, and now we can see all of the lights flickering. Again, we'll turn this off for a second. So all doing their own different thing, some different colors. Now we got the hangman array going full bore. And then if we do you can see everything. So this one, these are doing something in the off state. Not all the time do these do something in the off state. I just tried to mix it up so that everything wasn't the same. So for instance, like these don't light up until you turn the Saber on. Right. All right, so we can twist off. This is a, again, we can just put the grip on, screws on, right? There are no buttons on the outside now. So if we want to turn it on, we want to twist on or twist off. This takes a 7/8 blade. So I'm going to put a demo blade in. This is a little bitty KR pixel stick blade, right? So we can twist on, right? So with gesture on, we will get into battle mode. Now, battle mode is what also helps make this Saber a little bit easier to get more of the functionality without pressing buttons. So we can get lockups by clashing. We can do blast, the only thing we can't do are blast and quotes, but we can do force effect, but it takes a bit of a gesture. So the Saber has to be in an upright position, and you have to do a quick push, and it has to stay kind of parallel. I will try to demonstrate this. I did this in my last demo that we did, this like fully gesture control based thing. It took me a few tries. It's really just a bit of a finesse thing that you'll get. And then once you get it, you'll start to get better at it. I was able to do this quite a bit during the testing to figure out what value to set it at. So I was able to do it, but other sound fonts, I don't know if it was just me or if I was just twisting the Saber when I did it. That being said, so we'll twist it on. Okay, so light clashes, we'll actually get a clash sound, right? Okay, but if we really smack it, now we're in a lockup until we pull out, okay? So, and then if we want to do force, again, we have to be upright, See if I can get this. There we go. I will have a printout with that gesture. It really will take some finesse to get used to. I've sitting here doing it. I've got it to do it once, but you should be able to do just one way or the other, as long as it's like upright and moving like parallel to the ground. I think my problem is I tend to like push forward, or I tend to wobble. So anyway, that's that. Let's go back down to the table and we'll show off a few more of the pixel accent styles, just so we can call it a day. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to try to plan out, to do some new things.
Hero's Journey. Reconcile.
I will say Ruin and the brand new Starfall sound fonts, Legacy, Alliance, and Ascension all have preons, and I've made it so that gestures will not bypass the preon, because the idea is you're probably going to have the grip on most of the time. If you do want to do anything special, you know, like the fonts or soundtracks and whatnot, I've made it like so that you barely have to pull this apart, so you can get to the buttons real easy. So again, holding power for 2 seconds in the off state will get you your track player.
Legacy.
Okay, so here's Legacy. So if we hold it upright, we're gonna get the designated one that I selected. Okay. And then Alliance, same thing. And again, we can show off some of these.
Ascension.
So if you notice, the pixels did a preon. So a lot of activity in this chamber. Very cool design. What's really cool is how much you can see outside of the Saber itself. So I'm lightly tapping it to try to show off some clashes, but if I wanted to get into a lockup, and because I'm not using the full length blade, the lockups are still tip effects as well. So you can still do a melt, you can still do a drag if you've got your full blade in. This does take a 7/8 diameter Neopixel blade, and it's set up for a 36-inch blade, I believe. So you can use pretty much any blade. Does have edit mode, so if you need to get to the buttons to change any of the settings, if you want to create some new things, chances are you won't. But yeah, so that is the Wheel of Time Saber. Very cool. Really happy to have had part in this project. Bryan did an amazing etch with not only the different like depth and color engravings, so you can sort of see like all of those have like a different coloring to them on the scales. Really neat. Obviously, Nick did the hand etch here for, I'm not even going to pretend to know what that says, but yeah. So that will wrap this one up. Again, this does come with a blade plug. So we just pop that in there. And again, we've got, this takes no tools. You've got a thumb screw for your blade and then your grip. So again, we have quick access to that kill switch from the grip itself. So we can just hit the kill switch here. Let me actually show the crystal chamber so we can see it go off. So yeah, everything's off. Yeah, so that covers it. Any other things about the controls, I'll have a printout like I always do. This, again, will have extra printouts to show the gesture controls. I was only really able to show off the force effect once, but it really is just either a push or a pull when the Saber is upright But again, I don't know how much you can be off from that. Once you get the hang of it, though, you'll be able to repeat it a little bit more easily. And obviously, if you want to do anything else with the buttons or on the chassis. So yes, that will cover this. Thanks again to David of the Saber Museum for his trust with this install, and Nick as well. Hopefully, I did all the things Nick wanted to see out of this. He did kind of give me some instructions about like the various accents he wanted to see, and we got all of them in there. So yeah, that'll wrap this one up. Thanks again for watching, and may the force be with you.